Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me. A lot on the plate this morning. So I'm just going to take some time. I'm going to go slower. I'm still not feeling well. I'm still dealing with my fourth case of COVID, but that does not stop me from being here for you all. So those that join me, please, if you like what I do, give me a thumbs up. If you like what I do, share the link with other traders, other investors. I know a lot of you are newer, and then we have some people that are 20 years experience that still get benefit from things that I share. Now, today is going to be extremely important because we've got a huge freaking week ahead of us. And I, last week, told you that this week I see the market moving probably like 4%. Is it going to move higher or lower? Well, it's all going to be based on this data. So let me tell you what we have coming up this week. We've got Tuesday, which is tomorrow. We've got the consumer confidence level coming out tomorrow morning. Then Wednesday, we've got manufacturing numbers, but most importantly on Wednesday, we have the Fed coming out. Now, when we talk about the Fed coming out, 2 p.m., they're going to make their announcement, probably 25 basis points. But what people will be paying special attention to will be Fed Speaker Powell when he speaks at 2:30, and understanding if we do have a soft landing, the market will improve. If we have a hard or a semi-hard landing, you'll see the US dollar go up. So this is the easiest way to track soft versus hard landing. Put it in your mind. The US dollar is sitting at like 101.80 right now. Understand, if we're going to have a soft landing, which is positive for the market, the US dollar will drift down to about 97, 98, 96. If we're having a hard landing and you think the market's going to go down, you're going to see the US dollar spike probably back to the 110, 112 level. Understand, we're sitting at 101 right now. So you're talking about a 10% spike upward. So please follow the US dollar. If you're looking at symbols, it's DXY, the easiest way to track it, DXY. Okay, so we spoke about that. Next important thing, we have earnings out this week. 15% of S&P companies are reporting earnings. So am I looking at anything in particular? I have not looked yet. I don't care to play into earnings. It's more risky that way. However, we had one company release this morning. That was SoFi. And if I knew where the hell my phone was, I would tell you that the SoFi numbers came out pretty damn decent. And actually, if I was still trading and holding stocks longer term, I see my phone right there. I'm going to get it real quick. I'm in more of a comfortable position. I like to change things up, so I laid out some pillows. It just makes me more holistic, kind of able to relax. So let me tell you what the SoFi earnings came out at, because definitely got that. Okay, SoFi Q4 revenue up 60% year over year. Adjusted revenue 58%. Adjusted EBITDA 15.3. New members almost 500,000. Total products almost 8 million. New members or total members 5.2 million, up 51% year over year. So they increased their membership by 10%. So again, I don't want to be the Gen X Jim Cramer. But again, if I had to choose a direction for SoFi from right now where it stands, and I think it's up 4 or 5% pre-market, so let's just factor that into the price, I would be long SoFi. And I hate to agree with Jim Cramer, but we'll talk about earnings this week. So on Tuesday, we've got AMD, Snapchat, Exxon. So you've got your energy right there. You've got UPS, General Motors, Pfizer, Caterpillar, and McDonald's. So there are a lot of massive size companies coming out with earnings. Understanding that if earnings somewhat disappoint, that the markets will go down. The PEs for these stocks, if earnings go down and the price stays consistent, the PEs go up. And we're looking for PEs to come down to make it more manageable or more makes sense for you to buy these stocks, because everything is based on earnings. So again, Wednesday, you've got Meta and Peloton, and then Thursday is a huge freaking day, okay? Pay attention. You've got Apple, Amazon, Google, you've got Ford, you've got Starbucks and Qualcomm. Qualcomm's been off the hook lately. Well, the earnings are on Thursday. Next, I always mention dark pool levels, and I say pay attention to dark pool levels. Why are they so important? So let's just give you an example. Dark pool levels. Did we all see Lucid's movement on Friday? I think it went from like $8 or something close to that, all the way over $15 a share, and then back down to $12. Okay. The rumor was that Saudi Arabia company wants to take over Lucid and acquire them. Understand, Lucid, public company, great large valuation for it to go up, what, 70, 80, 90% is a little ridiculous in my case. And the dark pool level proved it. 1.4 million shares of Lucid was sold on Friday afternoon at a price of $15 a share. So it went up from 8 and change all the way to 15. 1.4 million shares sold in a block trade on the dark pool at 15. What happened right after? Well, you got notified. Dark pool, they sold. Lucid dropped back to the $12 and change range. Still up a lot of money, but the guy that had 1.4 million shares made a ridiculous amount of money. And rather than giving back and riding the elevator an extra $3, you're talking about he just saved $4.5 million by selling his shares or her shares on the dark pool. All right, next, I want to talk about my trade from last week. Going into Friday, I mentioned there were a couple different stocks I was looking at. I went into Carvana. Now, Carvana, when I went into, and let's just see if I can bring it up. I don't know if it's possible. Let me just see if I can share Discord right here. Discord. We'll go down to Matt's trades all the way down. Okay, great. They're the short companies I'm about to talk to. Okay, so Carvana, can you all see this hopefully? I mentioned going into it at $6.23. This is on Thursday that I had an interest in playing Carvana. Go into Carvana, expect a return of a few 100%. 641, it was up a little. It started out well. 666, I was so proud of myself that I sold. Then what happened? I woke up from my nap because, again, I'm dealing with COVID. $7.32. What happened after that? Carvana went all the way to $8. So again, if you're in at $6.32, 2 days earlier, it goes up to $8. How do you know it's going up to $8, Matt? I really didn't. If I thought it was going up to $8, I would have held. But what stuck out to me about Carvana was the short interest. So let's talk about, these are the 5 stocks with the greatest short interest this week. All right, let's look at them with me. You've got Silvergate Capital, again, lost a ton of money in Q4. I would stay away from that. Gossamer Bio, I don't like biotech companies, but again, 2 of the largest short interests. Then you've got Carvana. Then you've got Marathon Digital Holdings, again, a Bitcoin play. Therapeutics, stay away from bio, and Beyond Meat. So I'm actually looking at Beyond Meat again, Carvana, and Marathon Digital. The extra special reason I was in Carvana is because used cars volume has been spiking lately, meaning these dealerships have been getting a lot more business, 3 times the business they were seeing last month. So that told me, okay, let me look at used car dealerships and things of that nature. I wrote down some other ones, but then I looked at all the charts, and they've all been spiking for about 2 weeks. There we got Carvana, CarMax, Car Guru, AutoNation, Car Auction, Penske, and American Car Mart. Again, they've all made massive moves in the last 2 weeks, but they are on my list, and that is what I look at. Next, I wanted to talk about, to help you gauge the market, we could talk about China. Chinese New Year just ended. China had their first day of trading overnight. Their Monday. Chinese market, Hang Seng, down 600 points, down about 3%. Now, understand, China, after they celebrate their Lunar New Year, this year it's the year of the rabbit. Generally, the markets spike in China. So I'm watching China carefully because there are some Chinese stocks. I expected all of China's stocks to go down, but you have companies like Baidu that I think are up like 2.5% this morning, but you have Alibaba that's down 5.56%. Since we started speaking, SoFi is now up 8% pre-market. So what are my expectations from the market today? Let's get into that, and then we'll go into SPY levels. Expectations for the market today. I mentioned last week, it was a buy the dip mentality. Anytime you saw a dip, they were buying the dip. And I mentioned that's been going on for most, if not all, of January. When you look at the returns for the market in January, I don't know if it's the NASDAQ or the Dow, but you got up 8.8%, 11%. These are yearly gains that you've seen in 1 month. So definitely expect some choppiness. And I mentioned this on Friday. Let's just go back to Discord real quick. I'm going to go on to my alerts. What did I say? Even being sick on Friday, let's talk about what happened. Okay, at 2:39 p.m., I mentioned that you had a large $30 million plus order on put spikes. As we went into last week, calls by far outnumbered puts with expirations on Friday. But it flipped. It flipped. Expirations for this Friday were more put central. So I was expecting a little drop. And then what did you see Friday afternoon? Perfect timing, because I think the SPY was pressing 406 or even 406 and change. Let's just give you a correct number there, because I like to 408. Sorry. The SPY was pressing 408. I mentioned that $30 million worth of puts came in and that we are put saturated going out to expiration this Friday. What happened from 408? Well, from 408, we're sitting at 402, and you're talking about an hour and a half later from Friday. And then you add in Monday, we haven't even opened yet. So you're talking about in 1.5 hour time from 408 to 402, you're talking about 1.5%. And we did have members of Discord jump on the put options. And what else did we see on Friday? I'm going to go back to Discord, and I'm going to tell you right under that post, I also saw, this is about retail traders, and we'll get right back to this instance. Oh, I guess I didn't do that. There were a ton of puts. Oh, here we go. There were a ton of puts, a massive amount of put flow on the IWM, which is the Russell 2000. And yeah, it's damn hard to ignore. So again, I expected the market to go down Friday, late Friday. What else is going on in the market? Well, if you see this chart, and you can see what it looks like, retail continues to pour into the market. When we talk about retail, we talk about the average investor, me, you, him, her, not banks, not hedge funds, not big money, but the average Joe. And the average Joe is piling into the market. And what do we know the market likes to do when the average Joe piles in? Pull the rug out, right? So again, this week, unlike other weeks, I'm not expecting buy the dip. Now, you might see buy the dip mentality on Monday. You might see a little on Tuesday. But when you have consumer confidence, then you've got the Fed coming out on Wednesday, then you've got a ton of earnings, especially heavy tech earnings on Thursday. And I don't think they're going to surprise to the upside. I think they're going to surprise either to like, okay, kind of in line with expectations, nothing too wonderful, or they might disappoint. We might hear about more supply chain issues. We might hear about more China issues. Understand, COVID's not over. China is losing a lot of people to death. Satellite imaging tells you that morgues have lines of bodies stacked up in body bags outside. I mean, it's a sickening image. I don't know if anybody's Googled it, but you can easily Google it, and you know that China is lying about the number of people infected and the number of people that are getting sick and dying, and it's all coming our way. So anyway, that's what we've got going on. Oh, I appreciate that, Ryan. Grabbed a couple of TQQQ puts 10 minutes before the sell-off end of day. Yeah, so that's awesome, man. So I'm glad anybody that got in at 239 or 240 because you saw my posting and you saw the $30 million worth of SPY puts come across the tape, or you saw the influx of Russell puts coming across the tape because you're on our Discord, yeah, they're going to print. Here's the thing. Here's what I like to do. I like to sell, take profit. If the market spikes, I would re-enter that position. I know it's tough to ride the elevator. If you've got a real job and you're off at work, it's okay to ride the elevator because you're not staring at your phone going, oh, I'm up 40%. Oh, now it's only 20%. Now it's 80%. Now it's 40% again. So if you're not in front of the computer, it's okay to have a longer term vision. Okay, they expire on Friday. I'm going to hold through the Fed speak on Wednesday, earnings on Thursday. I'm going to scale out, only hold half my position until Friday. There's a good strategy right now. Let me just see what else we got going on. Friday, I mentioned the drop. I mentioned Carvana. I mentioned Lucid. Yeah, so let's just talk about SPY. All right, so the SPY right now is sitting at, let's just see where the level is, 402.41. So we'll go for worst case scenario and then best case scenario, okay? Worst case scenario is a bear case scenario. We're sitting at 402. You're going to get a spike at open. We always see a spike at open. They buy the dip in the market. And there's no reason to change that until they see the mentality of the market change or rotate as well. And when I say that, I mean you're going to see a dip and then you'll see the spike. So I'm expecting the SPY to head right back up to the 404 range. So again, if I was in puts, I'd be selling it open. I would wait for the spike back up to 404, 405, 404.50, something to that level. And if I'm getting, let's say, $400 a contract because I'm selling on market open at 402, it spikes back to 404 or 405 or 404.50, in between. And I could buy those same damn contracts back instead of the $400 that I sold them for like $270 or $280. Guess what? I just saved 30%. There's a strategy. I still would have the same position, still would have the same contracts that expire on the same date, same quantity, except I'm saving myself 30%. So there's a strategy right there. Again, okay, so those are my expectations. Bear case scenario, we dip, we spike back up to 404.50 or 404, then we dip below. Again, 400 is a key level that I'd be watching. If we dip below 400 where there should be support, you're going to find support at 398, then at 396. Now, how do I know this? Okay, again, I use Discord. You guys hear me say I use Discord a lot. I use it because I look at the dark pool levels. So let's just do that together. All right, let's go to the flow and algos. I'm sure somebody actually looked it up for me, so I'll be able to share that. Here's the SPY dark pool level. Let's make sure you guys can see that in the StreamYard. Let's add it. Let's add it nice and big. Make sure I blew it up. Okay, so dark pool levels. Very small dark pool level at 406.67. Remember, another small dark pool level at 403.73. So I don't really worry about those levels. Now, when I told you might see support at 400, if you look at the next level down, it's 400 spot 79 cents. So 479 cents. There's $21 billion worth of activity on the SPY. So what would I expect? I would find support right at the $400.79, plus or minus 20 cents. Understanding that if it breaks lower, and again, I'm giving you bear case scenario, the next level of support would be right under 398, 397.86. Again, you're talking about plus or minus 20 cents. So I'm saying 400, 398, next level down. You could do it yourself or look on our Discord, 396. Okay, now again, let's just come up with best case scenario. Okay, so my bear case scenario is we're at 402. We're already down 0.75%. We finish around 399 today, something like that. That's my bear case scenario, 399 on the SPY. The market's a little sketched out about all the information and all the earnings that are dropping later this week. Bull case scenarios. Bull case scenarios, shit, we see the same thing we've seen every day in January in the market, meaning they're continue to buy the dip. They don't give a shit about earnings. They don't give a shit about the Fed. They don't care about anything else. So what would happen? Okay, so we spike up to 404.50. We drop down to 400. You see support at 400, and then it trickles up and fades higher into the end of the day. And where do we close at? Probably where we closed out on Friday, 405.68. So even my bull case scenario isn't telling you that, like, I think the market's going to be bought up and explode. I would say bull case scenario, you get lucky and you finish exactly where we closed out on Friday, 406, 405.68, something like that. So that's your answer. Mr. Cham, there you go. Where do you see the SPY low and high today? Okay, so I gave you the bear case scenario. Bear case scenario is we go down to 390, 397. We probably close around 399. Bull case scenario is shit. We close where we closed out on Friday, 405.68. Then we're going to trickle and have chop all day. Again, we're going to drop on open 402, 401, spike it back up to 404, probably come down to 400, and then bull case scenario close at 405. So let's see what other questions we have. Let's see if anybody has any questions. If you could throw them up there for me, Carlos, I appreciate it. I'll stay away from my keyboard. I promise I won't interrupt you. Nope, no real questions. Let me see what comments we have here. Hey, so please, let's see, Matt, can we check out SoFi levels? Okay, we can check out SoFi levels, but no, here's the point. Why we can't check out SoFi levels? The dark pool levels on SoFi won't show above where we are this morning. So the fact that SoFi is sitting up, let me just see where it's at right now. SoFi up 8%. So it's at $6.44. All right, we'll give it a shot. Why not? We'll give it a shot for you guys. Let's add it. See if SoFi actually, I'm fearful that you won't see enough SoFi levels to give you information, but we can check it out because it doesn't hurt. SoFi dark pool level. And here we go. Yeah, the highest level you could see is $5.96. And since we closed at 594 and we're at 645, you can't see the dark pool levels. So if you're curious about SoFi, you'll be able to see the dark pool levels later today. If you check back around 11 a.m., the dark pool levels will likely be updated. Remember, we get all of our information from TradyTix. TradyTix is a great person to follow on Twitter. A lot of great information. There are a bunch of people, TrendSpider. What else do we want to do? Let me just go down here. Good morning. I know that you're shorting Carnival at 11. What do I think? That's a tough one, Josh. I'm not sure if I would actually short Carnival at 11. Again, you want to follow Carnival falls right in line with the casinos, cruise ships, the airlines, Boeing. So what I would do is if I was interested in possibly shorting Carnival, I would definitely have Carnival. I would put it next to like Delta and United, and I would put it next to Boeing, and I would add Las Vegas Sands and possible Wynn Casino to that watch list. I would call that my Dow return to normality playlist or something to that extent. But you want to make sure you see outflow in Carnival. You don't want to just say $11 is exactly where I want to short it. You want to make sure you see outflow in Carnival that day. We saw it on Friday. I mean, when it's a bad day for Carnival, Delta, United Airlines, what you usually see is you see a morning spike and then it fades in the afternoon. It's the same thing that happens with these Bitcoin-related stocks like Coinbase, Mara, Riot. They generally spike within the first hour of the morning on red days. On days they go red, they spike in the first day and then they kind of fade in the afternoon. Appreciate that. Let's just see what else we got here. I must have missed that in a few minutes. How about those lucid levels in the Saudi? Again, I don't play off rumors, so I wouldn't be worrying about lucid. Lucid right now is too risky for me. All right, money for nothing. We mentioned Nvidia. Now, here's the thing about Nvidia. Nvidia was $184 or $74. Now it's up past 200. Price target on Nvidia, I believe a lot of people have anywhere from $240 to $250. Now, here's the catch for Nvidia, which is a positive. And I'll get to it real quick. I took a picture. Okay. So here's the thing. Does everybody know about ChatGPT, which is an AI program that can basically write reports? It took the bar exam. It passed that. It writes everything. It's basically a great AI program. So rapid growth for ChatGPT usage could result in additional sales for NVIDIA of 3 billion to 11 billion just over the next 12 months. So over the next year, it's not like we have to wait for it to come to fruition. All right. This is by Citigroup. Citigroup estimates or analysts came out and they said NVIDIA can make an extra $3 to $12 billion over the next 12 months due to Chat GPT. So yeah, I mean, if I was to be interested in anything, again, if I'm going long any types of stocks, I'm looking for industry leaders. So I'd be looking at NVIDIA. I'd be looking at AMD, something to that extent. With that said, again, still struggling through my fourth bout of COVID. I'm sweating profusely, which you guys can see, which is why I'm asking you to give me thumbs up, make comments, share this video. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Right now, I'm going to head over to Discord. The greatest thing about Discord, we've got a live stream where Romeo is going to be live trading, where he kills it every time. He does it like 3 days a week. So people that are struggling in the market, please take a chance, join Discord, watch Romeo's. He talks about orbs. Other people call them different things, but his orb, fuck, I have no oops, I just cursed. Anyway, so yeah, I think it's going on the YouTube channel. I think he's going live tomorrow for the public stream, but the private stream he's doing 2 other times this week. So, I mean, he's just killing it. I love to listen to him. Although I hate to trade early in the morning, I love to listen to him, and he's just so on point. So that's great. Here for Romeo. Thank you. Please give thumbs up, and please join me tomorrow. I'm here to help you all. It's not for me to hear myself speak. In fact, if it was for me, I would still be sleeping. Thank you again. Heading to Discord. See you guys later. Thank you for joining me once again.